Hi all, still Michael. Welcome back to Tarot on the Wheel. Last week I spoke about how I view the suits, the elements that govern them, and the way that they play in the 16 court cards. Starting with what I would consider the pure energy court cards. The King of Pentacles being pure earth, the Knight of Wands pure fire, the Page of Swords pure air, and the Queen of Cups pure water. And talked a little bit about the difference between the planes and the intentions of the elements. So today I want to look at the interplay between the cards of existence, the suits of existence, being pentacles and wands, passive existence and deliberate existence. So just once again, when I talk about existence, I talk about things that are in the material world. Jobs, bodies, money, housing, food, health. The things that are tangible. They can't really be debated about what they are. They simply are. But the difference between the passive and the deliberate is how one interacts with these aspects. So from last week, there is the King of Pentacles, and King of Pentacles is just pure passive existence. That essential element of what is about a person or a situation. Whereas the Knight of Wands is pure fire, pure action. It's how the physical world is interacted with, what is done to it, what happens in it. It is the will. But if you invert just the intention and keep the plane, what you end up with are the Knight of Pentacles and the King of Wands. And when I think about how these elements interact with each other, I like to sort of structure it as a sentence and then start substituting the terms in there to create a broad idea of what the card represents. So when I say that, I talk about it is the blah of blah. It is the member of suit. So the Knight of Wands is the fire of fire. It is the deliberate existence of deliberate existence. If instead we're talking about the Knight of Pentacles, it is the deliberate existence of passive existence versus the King of Wands, which is the deliberate existence, the passive existence of deliberate existence. That is not the first time I'm going to screw that up, and it won't be the last. Weirdly, like with when I was looking at the major arcana, there are inversions that happen with the court cards as well. So when I talk about the Knight of Pentacles, I talk about the action of existence. So I'm going to dive into weird linguistic things here. When it's the of existence, when it's the of blah, that is a prepositional phrase. So if you were talking about the style of Coco Chanel. Style is a thing that is dependent on Coco Chanel. It's the sort of thing that you could invert it and it would be Coco Chanel's style. So while style is the sort of final point of it, it needs that other aspect to describe it. So when I look at the Knight of Pentacles, it is the deliberate existence of passive existence. It is the action of being. So it's the influence of the position of the court on the element of the suit. Upright, the one following the other pushes it along. It sort of advances the idea of that. Whereas reversed, it drags it back and impedes the fullness of that suit. Which means the Knight of Pentacles and the King of Wands, like with the major arcana, look at each other as inverses of each other. In the case of the Knight of Pentacles, upright, it is will informing existence. But that will is drawn from the nature of the existence. So it's the passive existence energy of Pentacles being directed very cautiously by the energy of the Wands. Whereas with the King of Wands, upright, it's action on existence. Like it's always going to involve action as the centerpiece. So just as an example, if I look at the 4 court cards of, say, the Pentacles, it's the passive existence of passive existence, deliberate existence of passive existence, passive abstraction of passive existence, passive abstraction of passive existence. It's the actions in the world derived from the world. It's thoughts and words about a situation derived from the situation. It's connections of family and spirit informed by existence. The Pentacles are all about the situation at hand. And each member of the court that doesn't share that same earth at its outside, the extra element informs. So the Knight of Pentacles versus the King of Wands is the difference between existence informing action and action informing existence. Whether fire leads or earth leads. Which means if fire is leading earth in the Knight of Pentacles, then reversed, it's earth impeding fire, which is different from the King of Wands, where earth is informing fire. And again, reversed, it's fire impeding earth, not fire informing earth. So with the King of Wands, usually describes a person who is in a position of leadership, who is leading the people around them, whose actions are informed by the reality of their station. Looked at in relation to a reversed Knight of Pentacles, it's actions dragging down a situation. It's not grounding properly. And the same is true of the reverse. A King of Wands reversed is a King of Wands who is elevated beyond their existence before they are ready. And so requires the deliberateness of a Knight of Pentacles in order to bring that groundedness that is required of a situation. I don't know if any of that made sense, but I really hope it will start to, the more of these inversions and mixes come into play. The idea is I'm sort of going to work around the wheel and look at each pairing as I come to it, which means next week I'll be looking at the concept of deliberateness as related to existence versus abstraction, which means I'll be looking at the Page of Wands and the Knight of Swords. In the meantime, thank you for letting me ramble. I'm Michael, and I hope you all have a good week.